So yeah, so this son figured out uh, over time, over hard time, that me doing what I want to do just because I can do it, it ain't the way to go. Yeah, verse 17. It was kind of personal for me because this is kind of what happened to me. It says, but when he came to himself,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. You can start with
let's park it right here. Um, this younger son went through a hard time. I mean, he had literally hit rock bottom. Here I am. I was a son living in a rich man's house, and now I'm out here feeding pigs for room and board. What am I doing? When he had his full of misery, then he started reevaluating things. Wait, whoa, right? And when you're an arrogant person, see, I spent the majority of my life thinking that whatever room I walked into, I was the smartest person in the room.
that. Yeah.
So you couldn't tell me
Pretty much.
nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I ain't asking you nothing. Because why would I ask you? Because I'm smarter than you. So you can't tell me nothing. And it didn't matter how many times I failed and kept failing and kept failing and kept failing, and it was like, get some help. Don't need no help. I'll figure this out. I'll get through
That's
this.
right.
It's gonna be all right. We'll figure this out. And failing and failing and failing, and it wasn't until I found myself um, uh, waking up in a detox cell at the county jail in Gonzales, Texas, after I had lost my job, my family, my reputation, my self-respect. Everything's gone. It wasn't until then that I said, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I, I'm done. I tried this thing called life, came at it from 100 different ways, steady failing. I'm done. And it was at that moment. Now, in my mind, I'm just done. Uh, but God saw that, and He was like, okay, now that He's done, let me come and make him an offer. The same offer that I've made several times before that you wouldn't even receive, let alone consider. Let me come with the same offer because I have a plan for your life. And the
Wow.
plan that I have for your life is way better than the plan that you. It's different from the one you had. Because you thought you were supposed to be this, that, and the other. But I'm telling you, I put something inside of you, and if you just let me take over, I'll bring it out. I'll bring it out.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
So um, this whole thing about prodigality, prodigality is basically walking away from God. Um, and the distance that you put between you and God is not measured in miles, it's measured in misery.
Yes.
So once you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you come to your senses. Then you start, let me rethink this thing. It's just like, this is not good. Something's wrong here. So it says, when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? He said, man, I'm tripping. He said, the people that work for my daddy, the people that I used to go there and boss around, work for me because I'm the father's son. They ain't going hungry. They got more than enough to eat, and I can't find any. I'm eating with slap with the pigs. In verse 18, it says, so I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back home. And I'm gonna say, listen, Dad, I know I tripped out. I'm
Yeah.
not asking you to let me back in the big house. Just will you just give me a job, so I can stop starving. Just just give me the entry level job. I'm not trying to come in and be a supervisor. Just can you give me a job?
Yeah.
Because he
Takes a few
understood.
years.
I'm sorry, I just want to make this
Go ahead.
point. He understood. He says, "I'm no longer worthy to be called your son." Now he understands
Hmm.
that it wasn't just what he didn't just affect him. It affected the family. You know, he by doing what he did, he brought dishonor to the family name.
Yeah.
You talked about having expectations with being Miss Randall's grandson. You know, um, those expectations weren't didn't just they went beyond the house that you lived in. They went out into society. People
That's right.
watched you because of those expectations, because of her reputation.
Right.
I understood that when I started doing what I did, I was bringing shame to my family's good name.
Yeah.
You know, um, and this is what the danger is when you're so self-centered and self-absorbed. You just don't realize, man, it's bigger than you. It's always bigger than you.
And sometimes, I mean, I don't I don't know if we don't realize or if we just don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Just don't care. That's it.
We just don't care. I mean, it's because there's a mindset that in this entitlement mindset that it's all about us. It's all about fulfilling our own needs. And and until that mindset shifts, then we're not going to be able to hear anything. You spoke earlier about how God was constantly reaching out to you, uh, and trying to draw you back, but you're like, you weren't ready. Yeah, I got this. I don't need no help. And I experienced this kind of something similar, even in my downfall or my turning away from God, my prodigality. Uh, is it's I had a struggle with it, and God was constantly telling me, you need to confess this. You need to get some help from, your brothers your sisters are there to help support you and to help to build you and to grow you. And I'm like, nah, no, I'm not hurting nobody but myself. No, nobody need to know. I'm just uh, it's this is all secret stuff. So I keep it all to myself. And not recognizing that no, it's bigger. It was bigger than me, and it's not till I got to a place that I couldn't come back from. And my behavior was something that brought shame to myself and to my family, and I found myself like where my wife didn't want to be around me, my kids didn't want to be around me. I'm sleeping in a car in the church parking lot in the middle of the winter, ready to take my own life because of the people who I've hurt. And that's when I came to myself. It's like, no, it's got to be something more than this. So that was when I was like, okay, Lord, I've made a mess of this, and I'm not worthy to even be called your son. But if you take me back, and if you give me a second chance, then and give me a chance to win my family back, and so on. So, it was. I'm sorry. Uh, it was a hard pill to swallow, and to see the pain and hurt decisions that I made caused to the ones that I loved or that I said that I loved, and maybe even recognizing that I didn't even know how to love. I thought I was loving because I was provide. I was bringing food home. I was there going to events and stuff like that. But if I couldn't accept God's love, if I didn't see God's love, then how can I return that to somebody else? Because I didn't know what it felt like.
You
So
can't give away something that you don't have.
that's
Um,
right.
so um, this is, and we're about to get to the part of the parable where we see what the love of God means. But um, you know, I was the same way, different details. But um, you know, I saw myself because of the constant failures. Um, uh, it didn't snap that the reason why you're failing is because you're in charge. That light never came on. But because of the constant failures, now I'm starting to condemn myself. Now I'm
Wow.
starting to hate myself. I'm my I'm my self esteem is extremely low, and it's like I just don't get it. You know I'm so smart. um, People that I've gone to school with used to copy off my tests. They're thriving. I know I'm smarter than that dude. Why am I failing? But the reason is because when you are a child of God, whether you realize it or not, when you're a child of God, God has a plan for you. And when you walk outside of the boundaries that He has already laid out,
You
see,
know.
there's a difference between freedom and liberty. Freedom says you can do whatever you want to do. You're free. There's no restrictions, nothing's holding you back. But liberty says, okay, here's the boundaries here and here, and you have the liberty to negotiate anywhere between these boundaries. Just don't go beyond the boundaries. So, this culture that we live in, puts the emphasis on freedom. But what you really want is to walk in the law of liberty, like the Bible says, the law of liberty. You know, I can go anywhere, just don't go over the boundaries, because the boundaries are there for a reason. The boundaries are there to keep you safe. The boundaries are there to keep you on your path. The boundaries are there so you can achieve your purpose. The boundaries are important. This is why God sets those boundaries. And yeah, the grass might look greener on the other side of the fence, but when you hop that fence thinking that it's greener grass, you find out, man, it's a pit bull in that yard. You get back on the side of this fence. It's hard over there, you know. And so this is what the younger son found out, um, in his effort to live his life according to his desires and his rules.